Gonna breathe. We have to breathe because that was a very, very fun El Clasico. Francis is, well, if you follow him on Instagram or Twitter, you've probably seen what he's doing. He's at Coachella, and I'm sure he's having an amazing time. He's about to see Kendrick Lamar perform later tonight. So that leaves me in charge of the El Clasico Recap, or El Clasico Recap. If you want Francis's thoughts, he'll be in studio tomorrow, and you all will live. Until then, you get to hear me break down all 5 goals, including the fact that Messi's a savage individual, because holding up the Barca shirt to the Bernabeu, that's going to go down as a pretty iconic photo. Although, does he get suspended for that? All right, there's going to be a lot of headlines. For one, it's on. The title race is on. Here's like the blanket statements that are very true. For one, with that win, Barcelona holds a tiebreaker over Real Madrid if it comes down to it in La Liga. 2, Real Madrid has Champions League play. With obviously that's going to have its effect on league play. Barcelona's got nothing to play for outside of La Liga in that title, and they want to go back to back. And they are technically, even though Real Madrid has the game in hand, atop La Liga. Now, I'm going to safely assume, like most should, that Real Madrid would take that game in hand, and they're really up 3 points. I'm going to kind of look at it that way. But let's not forget, before we get into anything else, Real Madrid still has an away game at Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona has the easier schedule. But let me pull up the match report. Let me know if my wording is just absolutely awful. Look, I'm an American breaking down El Clasico. If you're looking for certain phrases like guff and pitch and football and magisterial, you're not going to find them from me. You're going to get whatever amount of energy I have put into this. So I just want to find, before we get into all of it, and I'm going to keep this all in the video. I think you guys like seeing the realness that we bring you when it comes to our recaps and all the good stuff. So we don't do much editing. Why can't, look, maybe I'm an idiot, which is probably very true. I just want the match report. Sky Sports will probably have it, or is it Sky Sport? No, it's Sky Sports. Why is it BBC Sport? See, I'm not the crazy one here. Somebody's doing it right. All right, so the first goal, Casemiro, which was off the post from Ramos, and we have a lot to get into when it comes to Sergio Ramos later on. Was it a pen? I'm sorry, was it a red card? Was it not? But let's go to the beginning with the goals itself. So Casemiro scores the first goal of the match on a ball that came in and banked off the post, and it fell to Ramos, banks it off the post. Ter Stegen's on the other side of the planet, and Casemiro's in the right place at the right time. That goal pretty much at the time bailed out what was happened before and a little bit after, because without that right place, right time goal, Casemiro had an absolutely terrible day. Some of those weren't fouls, but if you're keeping count, it looked like 2 legit yellow cards for a player who it seemed like had the whistle blown at him 4 or 5 times throughout the match. And that kind of plays into the discipline that some of the Real Madrid players had, in my opinion, going down the stretch as to why Ramos was an immediate red card. It's just also not surprising that Ramos gets a red card. I think if you look on any sports book, it's like the number 1 red card to bet on. It's like the highest favorite. I don't think you even win money. I think you lose money if Sergio Ramos gets sent off. And he did a little bit of chirp in the Gerard Piqué too, which I thought was pretty funny. And then he was pointing to something, but I don't know what he was pointing to, and I'm really curious. Messi bounces back after the Casemiro goal 5 minutes later in the 33rd minute with some sublime touch. I can say when it was 2-2 or about 2-1, I can't blame either of the goalkeepers. I actually thought up until the 84th minute, before James Rodriguez's goal, of all people, James Rodriguez's goal, I thought that both goalkeepers were man of the match. Ter Stegen and Navas had some of the most brilliant saves I've seen all season across all competitions, and it was just truly phenomenal play by them. I loved the commentator calling him the Green Octopus. I thought that's like one of the greatest things I've ever heard, and it's hilarious. And then at one point, he just called him the Octopus, which is just a nice name for Keylor Navas, especially with the green shirt on. So be it. Okay, so Casemiro gets that goal, right place, right time. Ramos and Ronaldo pretty much run back post unmarked, and Suarez is the only man within 5 feet of them, so something tells me that screams defensive breakdown. And it looked pretty bad on Barcelona's part. Real Madrid goes up 1-0. So then Messi comes back with subliminal touch. Sorry. Crosses over. I know, basketball term, but you guys will live. And finishes right past Navas. In that case, you can't save that goal. Then, and Rakitic set up the Messi goal. So Rakitic definitely man of the match material, but after what Messi did to finish, obviously he's probably going to get that honor. Then the big one, Sergio Ramos' 77th minute red card. I think it's an intent thing. And correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section. I'm open to all the criticism. Hit me on Twitter. Here's a shameless promotion for @JSUM91 on Twitter. But if you want, because that's mostly, I'll respond more likely on Twitter if you hit me over there, post to the comments. I'm probably not going to be in the comments too much after this. I have basketball to watch and what a weekend of sports anyway. But so, it's the intent thing. I know that you have to make a play for the ball, and I know that Messi tried to jump over him completely. And it wasn't as aggressive because he didn't take out both of his legs. But to me, the intent for Ramos was there, and it looked like it was pretty much Messi going to make a clear path. And he threw both feet forward at him and kind of lifted them up. So I think it was a combination of the intent that Ramos was going to take out Messi, even though it didn't necessarily look as bad on the replay, in addition to the fact that Casemiro was carded and had whistles blown at him all game long, and eventually sent him off. Now, Real Madrid had major problems with that anyway. With Ramos going off, they had what? They kept saying, no center back. Bale came off early because I thought he had an atrocious game. I just don't think he's completely... Is the word fit? I think you guys used the word fit. He doesn't look healthy. Not just fit. He looks like he needs like a Gatorade. Somebody please get this man like 2 Gatorades and a granola bar and then put him back in the match. He looked like he was having a rough game. And I say that because it looked like his touch was off. He didn't look nearly as fast as Bale normally looks. That's just what I kind of saw for that one. So I'm a little bit all over the place here, but, bear with me. I don't do these recaps all too often. Ramos' red card. Then it comes back. But I guess I missed, because I'm an idiot, Rakitic put in. It was funny because here's my note on Rakitic's goal. Bleacher Report sends the update about how Bonucci put in a goal that made, it put it El Clasico in Juve's shadow for Bonucci's goal. And don't get me wrong, it was a beautiful goal, but literally a minute and a half later, Rakitic just pinged in a top, what do they call it, upper 9 in America that everyone makes fun of me for saying? The top left corner, and it was beautiful. And it was actually some good passing to get it in there in the first place. Then James Rodriguez comes on, and James never gets a full game or a full match from Zidane. He's either coming in the 78th minute of matches or the 80th minute of matches, or he's playing 60 minutes and getting taken off, and he's frustrated, and we know he's leaving. So the irony that of all people, and Zidane didn't even look happy, but still, the irony of all people that Marcelo puts it on a silver platter and Rodriguez finishes it. And in baseball, I know none of you watch that sport who are probably watching this recap. It's called a one hop. Or a bad hop, sometimes you get a good hop. And what happened was Marcelo put it on a beautiful bounce pass right into James' I believe, left foot. And Ter Stegen just couldn't get that one down of all the saves he made. That one was getting right by him, was a rocket. And right into the back of the net. And it's 2-2. And that swings the tide of everything because two draws for Real Madrid, I would still consider it title race kind of on. But Real Madrid is in the driver's seat, as they kept saying. But with Barcelona winning this match, they own the tiebreaker, and that came on the back of Messi's 92nd minute goal. Messi did not have a good Champions League against Juve. None of Barcelona had a good Champions League against Juve. They got absolutely stonewalled by Juve's defense and Gigi Buffon, and they looked frustrated. They were making bad turnovers in the midfield. I've watched those 2 games intently because I do like Juventus a lot. I think a lot of people know that watch the channel in general. But so, what could I possibly say to you in a recap that would be better than you just going and watching it? And you guys know we can't use the highlights. Copyright issue, our channel will get shut down, so we can't even do that. But just... Messi's a brilliant player, and I think Ronaldo's had the better last 18 months of football altogether. I think Ronaldo's been better than Messi for the last 18 months of football, but Messi hadn't scored in 6 El Clasicos, and he dropped 2 at the most needed time for Barcelona's season to at least keep them in a way like Klay Thompson did against Oklahoma City when they were down. I know a basketball reference, but like when they were down 3-1 in the series, and I'm sorry, 3-2 in the series last year, and Klay Thompson pulled them off life support. Messi just pulled Barcelona off life support to have a chance at winning some hardware this season. And forgive me, Madrid fans, forgive me, Real Madrid fans, but I think there's something great and iconic about these players and when they hold their shirts up in these hostile atmospheres to show you who you play for. I would equally love this, I promise you, if Ronaldo was in the new camp and the same thing happened, he took the shirt off and just held it up. I think it's an awesome scene. I think it's iconic. I just now wonder, someone please send it to me, does Messi lose a game? Because if that's the case, as wonderful and as iconic as I just made it out to be, if he can't play in a game in La Liga and it costs them, well, then there's a big problem because Neymar's out for 3. I'm dying, guys. Sorry, it was a long night last night. And then because Neymar's out for I think 1 or 2 more matches, and then there's going to be more conversation about, well, what do we do with Sergio Ramos? He might, because of the talking, he might be out for a match or 2 or 3. We're about to have a really, really fun La Liga race. In other news in itself, it was one ridiculously awesome weekend for sports. I'm really excited to be back in the studio tomorrow to discuss all of it. LeBron just ripped the hearts out of the Pacers, and I guess he's not clutch, but he hit one of his clutch. Look, LeBron has never lost in the first round of the playoffs. Please, please, just give the man the credit that's due. He's the king for a reason. That's not necessarily the East being a bad thing. Cub Swanson put on a great fight against Lobo, and I thought that I love seeing Cub Swanson fight. They both were gassed in the 5th round. Sean Porter stopping Andre Berto was a great fight. So a great weekend of fights in itself. A great weekend of basketball. There's even playoff hockey going on. I know nothing about that. And there's, of course, nothing better, seriously, than El Clasico. So, you can follow me at JasonRubin91 on the Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram at JasonRubin91 on the Instagram. But I urge you, I pray that you go over to Francis's Instagram and take a look at what he was wearing at Coachella. Francis once decided to live in a pineapple under the sea, and now I think he's going back there. He will understand what I'm saying when you see his outfit. It is something. Thanks for watching. I hope I did a decent job. Please let me know. And Francis will be back in tomorrow. I'm sure he's going to have some obviously more in-depth thoughts. I just watched that game, and it was fun. We'll see you next time.